Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are back in F1 2019 for race 2. If you did not watch the last episode, I highly recommend that you go watch it. We had a phenomenal race at our inaugural round in Australia. We climbed up to 4th and we made a pretty big undercut by a couple of laps, and we got past Lewis Hamilton for the lead of the race. And with only a couple of laps to go, Jeff, my engineer, told me that we might be having an issue with our engine. That problem may come into play here in Bahrain in the second round. You guys know Bahrain, one of my favorite tracks. I run it every season in my F1 2021 career mode. But in 2019 and 2020, Bahrain is round 2, not round 1. This is because of what was going on. Bahrain got through what do I call it? I'm just going to call it the cough. Yeah. Bahrain area got through the cough a lot quicker than Australia did, so Australia never held a round in 2021. So here we are, going to Bahrain, first in the points. I don't think it's going to last that long, but it was nice to get my first win so early in the career mode. And who knows? Maybe we'll have a shot at a first career championship, but I heavily doubt it. So, but nonetheless, here we go. F1 Alternative Story Mode, Chapter 2, Part 2. Here we go. So this is our second time going in qualifying. We have the quickest lap of the session, so right now it's pole position. As we look at it, we only have 2 minutes left in qualifying. So we're only going to have one chance, one lap. And that's not perfect. Turn 1. Late on the DRS. And that is our lap finished. We're not getting that back. That was too big of a mistake. We'll have one more chance if we get to the line quick enough. Which I do believe we will. So we just cross over the line. It's going to be close, but I think we will get there. So we got Valtteri Bottas in front of us. Lewis Hamilton will not make it back in time to do another lap, so he has to beat us in this current lap, or he is done. And that is qualifying complete. We have 3 minutes to complete our last lap and go into the garage. may be fast, but do we have the race pace? That's the question, because in Australia, we did have the race pace, but we still have that possible engine, that possible mechanical issue. And we're not really able to pull up to Valtteri Bottas in qualifying like how we were able to earlier. I'm wondering if Lewis Hamilton does not beat us, that is his qualifying over. And pole position for ourselves. First career pole position. I'll take it. And it's an upset for Max Verstappen, who does not get to go out again. He's starting P13. Really upsetting for the Dutchman. You know, I amped the difficulty about 10% before I started this race weekend. I guess it didn't work, because we take our first pole position of this story mode. Let's see if we can convert that to a race win.
Shortly, as we get underway here in Bahrain. Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36-mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Martin lines up one pole position as Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Bottas, Alexander Albon, and Magnussen, Sainz, Leclerc, Raikkonen, and Devon Butler, Weber, Verstappen, Roland Grosjean, and Perez, Stroll, Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, and Lando Norris. Russell and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid, and with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, remember to protect the inside on the run down to turn 1. Make yourself as wide as possible. Robust, but fair.
Alright, here we go. Going to go with the two-stop strategy. Only 3 laps on the soft tires, and then the entire last of the race. Can we change that? Oh, it's going to add. Dang it. Oof. Okay, we're going to go with the mediums for the last 11 laps. So, let's see if this is the appropriate strategy or not. We'll see you at lights out. Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel behind us. It's 5 red lights and away we go, but no surprise. Okay. Big brake check from Sebastian Vettel. And Bottas gets up into P2. We're going to have to fight the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. Force him the long way around. And also hit Sebastian Vettel. He's quite annoyed with me with that, rightfully. K-Mag is up on the podium. And that's contact with Raikkonen trying to make a move. Vettel gets past the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. And we get past K-Mag. Now chasing down the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. Okay, Vettel, we get it. You're there. Jesus.
That was very risky. Could have received a penalty.
Yada yada yada, Jeff.
Some information on Vettel. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Yeah, they have a problem because I just slammed into the back of them. Obviously, Vettel's going to have a problem. Back up into P3, the Mercedes have pulled away. And we chase down Valtteri Bottas again. Kevin Magnussen really trying to take P4 away from Sebastian Vettel. I think he might. There is a possibility for it. Alright, we're going to try to make the undercut as we go off. That's not good. Just going to allow the other drivers behind us to catch up. So we're going to be hitting this lap for the medium tires. That will be the tires that we run until the very end. I think we can do this. It's only lap 3, Jeff. I've just been pushing harder than Vettel has. No one has fresher tires than anyone. I am boxing this lap. So, purple second sector. Not sure we can go the distance, but here we go, hitting now. And of course, no one coming in with us. So they may be going with the two-stopper, which in the long run might work. So is this a bad strategy? $14 laps here at Bahrain. Lock up on the front tire. Couldn't see what tire it was, but we did have a lockup. Robert Kubica is on the mediums. He started on the mediums, so see how this works out for him and Williams. That's a yellow flag on the front straight. Looks like Sebastian Vettel is out of the second round. And he's on track. What is he doing? He is still on the track. There he is pulling off, but what was he thinking? Closing the gap on the, well, now George Russell, but still Williams drivers who are fighting and losing ground to the main bunch. Double purple sectors now. So we are in DRS range of the Williams, and we are better than the Williams. So take a look around the outside of Kubica. DRS enabled for both of us, but we have the raw speed. That is triple purple sectors and the quickest lap of the race. George Russell is going to work in our favor, but not really, as we lock up both tires and go off. And we lose both positions. It was either make contact with Kubica, pull out, or try my luck and possibly lock up. I tried my luck, and we did lock up both the front tires. That's not good, because now those front tires are more worn out than what they should be. have a second chance in Kubica. And one of the Mercedes is in. This is where we find out if our strategy has worked. Several cars coming in, actually. The Williams cars do not. We are not going to come out in front of that Mercedes car, but he's not too far in front, and he's behind our teammate of Pierre Gasly. So this could work out for us if Gasly actually plays the team game and contact with George Russell. That sends us into a car loop. I do not understand that whatsoever, but physics will be physics. And Kubica is still having issues. Thank you, Jeff. I do not care about the guy behind me because it seems like everyone else here is going with the two-stop. I just realized that Kevin Magnussen is in the lead of this race. That is either a Renault or a Haas, and there were no Reynolds up at the front of the field. And the lead Mercedes is in, coming on George Russell. It would be a more smart idea to stay behind him for DRS, but going to make the move. Russell is pitting anyways. Back up to P4 now, behind Valtteri Bottas. The leader, who I think may actually be a Renault, he has not pitted yet. Kubica, he's not pitted. He's still running. He's on the medium tire, so he will be able to run longer than his teammate of George Russell. I'm starting to think that was a bad idea to pit on lap 3. Hate that corner. I don't think we have the speed to catch the two Mercedes. We're going to have to hope that they pit again. But since they're on the medium tire, I doubt it. I don't think Bottas is pitting again. It was Devin Butler in the Renault who was leading this race. Yeah, nice try, Devin. But not in a million years. I do not believe we're going to be able to go for the race win, but I think we can at least chase down Valtteri Bottas, take P2, and stick it to Mercedes by taking away their 1-2. The gap closing every lap. Getting closer and closer every single time. We cross the start-finish line. Less than 2 seconds separate me and the second Mercedes driver. Robert Kubica, he is still yet to pit.
I started to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
Right on Valtteri Bottas now. Just over a second is the gap. I do believe by the time we get down to that second straight, we will have DRS. It's a purple first sector. Okay.
Access on fuel. Mix 3 is there if you need it. Mix 3.
Bottas and I make contact. Going to put it on Rich to try and chase down that Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Fuel mix now on mode 3. Thanks to Jeff. However, we're going to have to defend from Valtteri Bottas, who will have DRS. Oh, and he puts us into the wall.
Be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
Yeah, well, Jeff, that's not my worries at the moment. My worries right now is that Valtteri is attacking me. Less than 4 seconds actually, the gap between me and Hamilton. Less than 4 laps to go. It's actually a solid corner. Zico's messaged me. Alright. Are you kidding me? Okay, well, I'm not going to let that happen. Sorry, game, but you're not going to have fun with me. Coming to 3 to go. Not exactly a great battle. The field is actually spread out a lot.
That's a new fastest lap for the race.
We did have a decent battle with Sebastian Vettel during the first 2 laps.
Leaving space between you and the car behind by a few seconds per lap.
But then he had his mechanical failure, and now Charles Leclerc has put his Ferrari up into P4.
Laps of fuel remaining.
We've chased down Lewis Hamilton. I do believe we're going to have DRS on the, at this point, 5-time champion. There it is, DRS countdown, and DRS deployed. Don't exactly catch him in that straight. We do catch him on the braking, make slight contact. Yeah, less than a second behind Lewis. Now this is the battle that the virtual fans have come to see. So I make contact with Lewis once again. DRS deployed. Just over a second, the gap between me and Hamilton. So I close back up. We're going to have DRS heading down into turn 4, one of my favorite overtaking areas, but Lewis just gets away so well on the acceleration. Closer than we've ever been to Lewis here. We're going to make the same move that we did on Bottas. Hit him in the corner heading into DRS. Get DRS and overtake him. It worked on Bottas. We make the same move on Hamilton on accident. I did not mean to make it on either driver, but it has worked. We are now back into the lead of this race, and we're going to lead a lap for the very first time in this entire Grand Prix. Final lap.
This is your final lap of the race.
Here comes Hamilton with DRS. He's not going to get there. Not close enough to do anything on the front straight. Can he do something in turn 4? Looks like he cannot. He's got one real chance now to try and make an overtake. If he stays close, he'll have DRS. Does he have DRS? I did see that rear wing flap open, but he isn't able to catch up. And the game's having fun with me again. This game is just having a laugh at me, isn't it? The tires are absolutely shot. Coming into the final corner, going to double our points lead. And get our second win.
That's a race win and your second race win in a row. Fantastic job.
Nice. 2 wins in a row.
Here's our winner, Polytech Toro Rosso is the Mark Ferme. Oh, what a fantastic race. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart there?
I honestly feel it was down to the driver and the car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an improving car,
Devin Butler finishing 7th.
As we await the winners to take their positions on the podium, one thing is clear. Toro Rosso have really shown their prowess on the track. This is a team that isn't afraid to take risks, whether that's on the circuit or in the new Talent Hire. Today, those risks certainly paid off.
second race win of our story mode, and only our second race.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Martin increases their championship lead. Now, let's discuss Ant, who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Well, you can't fault anything that Sergio Perez did out on the track today. He drove flawlessly, making it an easy win.
It's time to check out the constructor standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
So, Renault did very well. Kevin Magnussen, what a drive from the Haas driver. He finishes 6th and firmly puts Haas up into P7 in the Constructors. And Red Bull, not gaining any points, lose out, even though Ferrari driver Sebastian Vettel DNF'd out of the race. Charles Leclerc was able to finish P4, gaining 12 points, and now Ferrari is only 1 point behind Red Bull, so Red Bull, better watch out, guys. Ferrari's coming for you. Okay, Shanghai, this is the last one that we're going to do. Qualified P6, because I was cocky and decided not to go out for a second lap. We got the wheel. We got my trusty face cam, wheel cam, whatever you want to call it. So here we go. Let's do it. 14 laps around Shanghai. Love this track, but sometimes I hate this track. 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. It's poor start as Alex Albon now gets in front of us. That is contact with Carlos Sainz. Don't know what happened to Sainz, but we now have Grosjean. Oh, I hit Sainz off the track. Oh, that's a lockup from Sebastian Vettel. Or maybe even the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. One of those two cars locked up, and now I've taken P4. Right behind the Red Bull of Max Verstappen in P3. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Vettel, if you're... That's Albon. That's Albon. Not Vettel. Actually, I'm going to get a foot cam because my feet are going insane right now. I wish I had a way to look back. I can see them in my mirrors, my side mirrors, and it's intimidating. So 14 laps. We're going to run 4 laps on these soft tires and then go the last 10 on the mediums. I did pretty well in qualifying. I feel like if I wasn't so cocky, I might have gotten pole position. But I'm having such bad starts, I don't think it would have mattered. In fact, I'm lucky I even got back up to P4. Oh, big dive bomb on Charles Leclerc. Ferrari's almost savior, essentially. But now Max Verstappen has gotten back past the man from Monaco. And we are up into P2 trying to run away from Verstappen and chase down Lewis Hamilton for our third. But right now we are on what seems like third podium finish in a row. And that would be something. Oh, and we get turned by Max. Oh man, this game is just having a laugh with us at the moment. Honestly, Max is going to have the speed, so let's just, I guess, let him have the outside. Going to keep going. It's going to be much harder now that DRS is being enabled this lap as we go off a bit.
Race officials have enabled DRS. DRS is now available.
Man, race pace is not there today. Alright, I don't know what that was, but the game was just having a laugh with me. A major laugh with me. Okay, well Max is already at me, even before DRS. The Red Bull just a lot more pace. And the Ferrari. Alright. We wheel bump with Verstappen. Go off.
Move was reckless. We're lucky not to have been penalised.
Penalize. I love how Jeff says
We're
it.
going in this lap.
Oh my god, Leclerc! Are you kidding me? I want to see that. I want to see that. Because to me it seemed like Leclerc just would not back off. Yeah, just would not back off, Leclerc. What the heck, man? You man... the man from Monaco, just not exactly living to a very good name, in my opinion. As it gets past Verstappen, hitting this lap, I'm going to change my way of steering at the same time as we come into pit. I'm going to show you Leclerc
Green flag.
get knocked off the circuit. No English speaker. Alright, so Max just a lot of speed right now.
To pit this lap.
Alright, Max has it. Once again, he gets it before we even make it to the DRS point. Vettel, what are you doing? Vettel, what are you doing? Force Max wide there. And slingshot into the pits. Fuck. I don't know why it didn't. Okay. Got my controller now. Alright, I'm going to actually see. Ugh! I can't. I don't know why it does that, but okay. So we are going to be at the back of the grid anyways. I was just trying to see if I could fix the mistake I made in stuffing it into the tire barrier. Okay, boys, come on. Quick stop, quick stop. Yes. No mistakes whatsoever.
Look after these tires now.
Let's see if I can't, because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing here with these pedals. Here we are. What the? Hamilton's in. Looks like a lot of these guys are coming in. A lot of the first drivers. Pierre is in.
Pierre is in for his stop.
Because we pitted last lap. So they had me come in one lap early. I wonder if this is the appropriate strategy. Switched by several of those who pitted, not all of them, which is quite annoying. Vettel, being one of them, he is right in front of us now.
The car ahead is coming to fit the mediums. Car ahead, now running medium tires.
Yeah. See that mistake?
Behind is 3.8 seconds.
That mistake with hitting the barrier has cost me a couple of spots. Granted, Vettel was right behind me, and he's trying to wreck me like his teammate was.
Okay, clear. Gap to car in front is 2.7 seconds.
And collision with Sebastian Vettel, which knocks him off circuit. And possibly out of the running for a podium. The rest of the drivers coming in for their pit stops now. up into third now. Hamilton still a long ways out front. Mercedes just really strong here. This game. As we get by Max.
Nice move.
You know what? I'm going to stay behind him for the DRS opportunity. It could have been a mistake to do that because he is so quick. Oh, and that's contact. Slammed right into the back of Verstappen.
Gap to teammate behind is 12.4 seconds.
As long as Pierre gets points, I'm fine. Even if it's 1 point, because at this point, we need every point.
+1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target +1.
Alright, well then, let's put it to Rich to try and pull away from Max and catch up to Lewis. Fuel mix 3. Now. I also just want to go for the quickest lap if I can't catch Lewis. And this game is having a frickin' lap. Absolutely hate it. And we do get the fastest lap of the race. We are catching Lewis, not by a lot, but we are. And we are pulling off of Max.
Hamilton is ahead of you. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 3 laps off. The time last lap was a 1 minute 42.0. You're closing in by around 1.4 seconds a lap.
So 1.5 seconds better each lap than Lewis. good. We set another quickest lap of the race. We are pulling much further ahead of Verstappen. Verstappen looking for his first podium of the season. Hamilton looking for his first race win of the season. Only 6.5 seconds between me and Lewis now. And this game, mate, I cannot believe it.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down. Hamilton ahead. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 4 laps old. The time last lap was at 1:42.2. You're gaining by 2 seconds a lap.
What's the gap, though?
Hopefully you're not in the middle or somewhere where you can.
Almost done.
Alright.
4 laps. This.
Engine is showing some signs of wear. Power output will be down.
Okay.
I'm also recording.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Strike zone's Brunson. Something like you said, Quincy.
You need to use some Q-tips.
No.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres. We're leading our teammate by 23.6 seconds.
Okay, so are you gonna take Luke or are you gonna take Jingo? You're confusing. You're confusing a bunch of people.
Or George.
Okay. What? So if he has to go out there and poop, he's gonna go out there and walk back and forth, go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. So squirrels, birds.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
The gap closing. Coming to the final lap of this race. And the gap closing big time. I think by the time we get to that main straight, we're going to be in DRS area.
This is your final lap of the race.
Once again, go into rich fuel mix to help the chase in my favor. This is it. We are not going to catch him.
Hamilton is ahead of you. They're on all mediums. Their tyres are 8 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 41.6. You're gaining by a full second per lap. Good job.
We had 2 more laps. I think we would have caught Lewis, but we will not. It is the first Mercedes win of the season. We come home P2.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish.
Alright. We still gain points, and yeah.
Another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, what delivered this result to you?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Alright. We will see you all in the next part in this story.
Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. So, Anthony Davidson.
Only 10 points separates me and Lewis after his race win.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend. They've pushed themselves further up the order. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Here, just misses out on getting his first points of the season. So hopefully he'll get that in the next race weekend, and we will see you there.